Hello again, everybody. Welcome to some more Toonkind D&D. My name is Whis. I'm one of your actors for today. I am playing an NPC. That's just what today is. And joining me is the lovely, talented, delightful, and all-around wonderful person.
Aww.
Will Smith
Hi, everyone.
hands. Doing Will Smith hands at you.
Jazz hands in the air, and then William Smith hands directly back at you, Whis. Hi, everyone. I'm Vwild, and I'm technically playing two of my NPCs. They're gonna have a fun time. They're gonna do their job. Woohoo!
About bloody time.
Yeah. Please, let's just hope they keep the collateral damage to a minimum, please. We have a picking budget.
Oh dear. So, why don't you give us a little bit of an introduction to these two for anybody who might have missed their first appearance in the Moving House FPS?
Alrighty ho. My two wonderful little buddies here, I put my hands on their heads. This is two chaotic dumbasses, folks. The Sketches, a part of Lynn's network, specifically two of her best informants, incredibly specialised in their profession, which is being incredibly sketchy and getting the rough work done, but hey, they're really efficient at it. They go where she can't or cannot split herself to go at that time. And they get results. We got Kop, the real kind, looking pretty Toonkind goblin. And Morpha, the no one knows what the peck she is, but by God, she's happy to be here.
You hold her very soft.
She is Toon, but whatever else is in there, nobody knows. It's just, oh, I am doing this now.
An
That
enigma.
should be fun.
An enigma wrapped in a mystery.
Precisely.
So, the Sketches are finding themselves in Ghibli today. Because across the network, news has come of a Pokemani who is enjoying the accommodations at the local jail. And Detective Stagehand has a bit of a vested interest in the Pokemani, doesn't she?
Oh, that she does. And Kop and Morpha are both very aware of that. In fact, Morpha was probably one of the ones that was set on in the first place. Okay, this is this boy Rai. I'm pretty sure he just lives in the wild. Let's get some information on him. Back in that very beginning.
Yeah. But, so there's very minimal information on this particular fellow that the Sketches are able to get, outside of actually physically talking to him. So, this guy's name is Raof, and he is quite crotchety, all things considered. I'm just trying to find my notes. There they are. He has been in this jail for about, well, it's over a year now.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that the Sketches know is that there is no paperwork or for sentencing or any court proceedings. He is listed as a citizen of the Isle of Jotos. But for the little amount of digging they've been able to do, there is correspondence from one Ark Alamos, which instructs the jail to keep him imprisoned indefinitely with no further information.
That gets a prayer hands. That gets a prayer hands from Kop, let me tell you, just sitting there going... So we all realise that's fucked up, right? Good. We're all on the same page as that? Yeah, that's fucked up. Okay. Oh. On the plus side, they could all have a nice visit. 'Cause hey, let's see what this guy knows. Let's see if this guy knows why he's here.
We'll find out, won't we?
Yes. The Kop also has been specifically told, don't break a mother picker out of jail.
Fair enough.
Just don't do it. Don't do it. In fact, you know what? I can't trust you with the picking explosives today. Give them here. All of them. All of them. And Morpha, you're not allowed to hide his as well. I know you keep them on you as well for him. No. Just this entire gag back at Network before they got dispatched.
It's that hand over your weapons gag where it's just each tiny little space of in between layers of cloth that you could think of to pull a weapon from and pulls another piece of explosives.
Exactly. Kop is a weapons specialist. He's got quite a few of them on his person. He's allowed to keep them. He's just not allowed to keep the explosives today. It is good. Having so many layers. This guy wears, like, hoodie, other layers underneath, and his beanie hat. There are so many different places to store stuff that it's almost like he's got a hammer space.
It is the one thing, as a real kind, that I am very jealous of. God, I wish I had a hammer space.
Indeed.
Dear, oh dear. Alright, so after an extended hand over your explosives gag, how are the sketches getting to Ghibli? And what's their approach going to be when they get to the prison?
Quite frankly, they would have actually gone the official channels on this way.
Mm-hmm.
They are looking into a specific case. They will not directly specify which it is, but there will have been a official correspondent from Lynn with some legal backing going, there is going to be a needed interrogation. I'm sending my finest. Here is Kop and his +1. Because yes, it is always fun when you get to not put what your name is in Morpha's opinion.
She can make her mind up when she gets there.
Exactly.
Bless.
She had a couple of choices. She was specifically told she couldn't be Faber. She wanted to go as the Wizard Man. She really liked the Wizard Man.
Can't see it would have been to any benefit, so it's probably, wise.
Indeed. It's just she likes doing different people because they're fun and they react differently to things. Same time, there is just Lynn just going, no, that is a child. No, pick another one. Okay, yes, fine. That one will do fantastic. And they would have. I think they would have actually gone, like, by teleportation circle at first. Or yeah, where is it again?
This prison is, it's not in Chihiro, because that's not what Chihiro is about, but it is in a nearby town that does not have a name, because I didn't think of one. But in that...
Well, actually, that works. Putting him in the middle of the, like, nowhere, nobody knows its name, it's not going to have a teleportation hub. Pretty smart.
Well, it does, actually.
Ooh.
But you have to really know where you're going in order to use that circle. And the interesting thing about that circle, which the two of them will notice... Actually, why don't you roll Arcana for the two of them to see if they do notice?
I shall roll Arcana for the two of them. Oh! Okay! Okay! They're starting off their rolls actually damn good. Okay. Let's see. That is for... Okay. I tried to close one thing so that I can see the Discord. All of a sudden, everything pops up at once.
Man, computers, right?
Yeah. Alright. I got Morpha. And I got Kop. What's your thing? Okay. Kop, you've got absolutely no modifier, but that's okay. We love you. Okay. So, Morpha got a 19, Kop got an 18.
Nice. Okay, so in that case, they will both notice, once they sort of get to this unnamed part of Ghibli, that the circle is one way. You can take a circle there, but there's no circle out.
We're taking the train home, Morpha. Is this normal? You know what? Given our track record, it fucking is, isn't it? They will find that both unusual, though, because of just, like, the magic related to it. So,
Yeah.
you're allowed in, but you can't leave. I mean, makes sense when you got a prison to a certain extent, but at the same time. They would still go, but they're definitely going, okay, are we gonna have to go back on foot? We're gonna have to steal a horse? Are we gonna have to get the train?
I guess we'll figure that out when we get there, huh?
Kop's words exactly. It's just, he's already stepping on that teleportation circle.
Groovy. Alright, so you step through the circle and you do come out to this. It is a small working town. But even looking around, it doesn't even seem like a town as such. It's a couple of shops and a couple of houses. And I don't know if they've got them over in your part of the world, but over here we've got these big stretches of highway in between cities and towns. And sometimes you'll get this thing on either side of this massive highway where you've got like a KFC on one side, a McDonald's on the other, and then maybe a couple of, like the hint of something that's half of a town beyond that.
I'm aware of those.
It's kind of like that. So it's a service town where the people who live in this town either work at the few shops and stuff there or at the prison. Which is very obvious and is the most visible building. Like, you can step out of the circle station and you're just like, I think it's that.
Well, found the right place. I bet I could break into that. You're not allowed to. I know, but I could.
Well, luckily you don't have to. Because you're here on official business.
Indeed. It is. Kop was a criminal first and foremost before he got picked up by Lynn. He does look at places and go, okay, how can I raise the most amount of chaos? Because I damn know I can't talk my way into these places normally.
Yeah, fair enough. So because you are here on official business, and I imagine that Lynn would either have sent them with a letter of introduction or have sent word ahead that they were coming, you are able to get into the jail, get a little visitor's pass that you have on a little lanyard that you have to put on and show at all times. And then a guard will lead the pair up to the cell in question. Can I ask what form Morpha ended up taking for this endeavour?
I think Morpha's actually got an interesting one at the moment, in that she technically looks like herself,
Uh-huh.
but it's actually not. She's cast Disguise Self, and actually looks like someone else underneath that.
Wow, that's meta. I love that. Okay, fair enough.
It's very much that, yes, I am someone in disguise. This is me. This is me in disguise.
Oh dear.
And she's personally very proud of this.
Hey, whatever works. Alright, great. Okay, so a prison guard leads you up to this particular cell. And as he's walking, he's walking quite slow ahead of you, and he just sort of looks over his shoulder at the pair of you. Do you want to talk to him in his cell, or do you need an interrogation room?
Which is preferred in your opinion? If he's... What's this guy like? Has he been nice to you all? Or I get prisons are prisons and prisoners are prisoners, but... He getting good behaviour?
Hardly. Anytime anyone goes near him, if he's not hungry or hurt, he's rough.
Well, you know what? It's honestly, it's nicer to sit down at interrogation tables than outside one of those places. And in fact, there is actually a moment where Kop does just like turn to Morpha, and no words are said. Like there are no words whatsoever as they're looking at each other. There's the best this guard gets is like ear twitches from Kop, just like small head tilts, ear twitches. Just at one stage, an eyebrow being raised. Morpha is not doing any expressing whatsoever. Is just staring at him unblinkingly.
Okay. All right. Well, after you've said that, the guard sort of nods and he grabs at his radio, which is a radio-shaped stone of fast speech, and he mutters something in Undercommon into it. Do either of them speak Undercommon?
Yes, they do.
Okay. He's just he's got his little radio and he's just saying, all right, we've got these two asking for an interrogation room. I'll take them to room 41-4, and if I can get Steve to go and get the guy, you can get back up if you need it.
There is just, because he's speaking in Undercommon, he clearly doesn't want to be heard by them, and so it's just, I think they're both just gonna just go as though they don't understand. It's just,
I'm not sure I understand.
Siri, you goddamn lord! Siri's been banished. Siri's been banished.
Siri does not speak Undercommon.
Yeah. There is just one guy called Siri being taken to his own cell.
Yep, fair enough. Okay, so once the guard has said this into his stoner fast speech radio, and he gets a little response going, "You really know how to give me a hard time, don't you, Ben? All right, fine." And then there's this sort of, I don't know if stones of fast speech actually make a radio off noise or a click, but this one does. And he sort of gives a nod and then motions to the two of you. "All right, we're going to go to one of the interrogation rooms. Come this way." And he leads you down a corridor and up some stairs and down a corridor. And he lets you into one of those rooms that has that one-way glass along one side. And you're welcome to roll a perception if you like.
I will do. Kop is also going to be trying to memorize the route that they went to get there.
Okay.
Because he likes knowing his escape route. I mean, he's still got explosives. You really think you can take all of his explosives? He's got other places to hide explosives. He's very good at this job. The wonders of having to type many things, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be able to find his way back out with that roll.
Oh,
now
yeah.
Let's just go.
Easy.
Yep. Okay. And then perception. Perception time. Come on, my darlings. That is a 18 from Morpha. And what are you, Kop, my darling, my dumbass man, my wonderful guy? It's I love you, but by God, you've got problems. And that is also a +6. Fantastic. So that is an 18 and a 20.
All right, beauty. So you're led up to this room, and you can tell just by looking at it, it's not necessarily one that gets an awful lot of use. But besides having that one-way glass that you can see into the room. It's that normal stereotypical interrogation room where it's just a plain room with a table and some chairs in the middle. This one also happens to have a whiteboard and some fantasy whiteboard markers on the far wall. But the thing that they both notice that it's most maybe out of the ordinary is that the door is heavily reinforced.
They're both having another silent conversation at that. Which way does the door go? Is it a two-way direction or is it a one-way direction?
Oh, you can open it from both sides, but it swings inward. So you have to push it into the room in order to get in.
Okay, so it's if anything happens inside, because it's a bit more of a struggle sometimes to pull open a door like that. Concerning, but also makes some degree of sense of if that glass shatters, they don't particularly want whatever inmate's in getting out. In fact, before the guard does disappear, Kop does have a question of just, before you go, question. People you usually have here, what kind of prison is this, eh?
We're medium high security prison. We're thankfully not full to bursting. But we house all sorts of criminals, from the petty to the for lifes. We have a lot of lifers here.
And everything's up to code? You got all your paperwork for it all?
Yes,
I know it's a bit fiddly.
We have a very, very large administration team.
I always want to say they roll insight because they've both looked at this sheet and gone, hey, this guy's got no trial. And he's here for life. Buddy, your police system is shit.
You're welcome to.
Ooh. Alright. Okay, what is your... Okay. Kop not doing as hot, but hey, he doesn't do people usually. Well, he does do people. He does pissing people off. and you're gonna like Morpha. You're gonna like Morpha. Hey Morpha, how are you feeling? There is just the most blank-eyed woman staring at this guy. She wants to know all.
Wow, that's a 26. Okay. Alright. So with a 15, Kop can definitely tell that this guy does know that some things probably do fly under the radar a bit. With a 20 freaking 6. God damn. Morpho can tell. Absolutely. He knows this guy that he's bringing in for you. He knows that it's not necessarily the way that he would run things. But you also get this feeling that he sort of put it to one side because it's above his pay grade.
There are no emotions on Morpha's face. It's specifically, Kop is the one who is gaining all the attention here, doing all the talking. However, it's just Morpha in the background is just staring unblinkingly, just going, I see you. I know you lie.
That's why they make a good team.
Indeed, exactly why they're sent out together. It's both to supervise one another and help each other, and also because they cover each other's weaknesses.
So
they're the best duo.
So with this said, the guard turns to this room and he unlocks it with a very large key. And then pushes the door open, and it does look and sound like it's quite a heavy door. He pushes it open and he holds it open for you both. The guy won't be too long if you'd like to step inside.
Thank you. We'll have a nice time in here. And there is just like, Kop does just do the little stretch where all your bones pop as he's just going in. Just, yep, alright, same shit as always, let's do this.
Gravy.
And there is a private grin to Morpha, and he doesn't say anything, but there is that eyebrow tilt of, hey, I'm on the other side of the glass today.
Oh dear. Do either of them want to do anything while they're waiting?
I think both of them, because new location, they do want to check out the room, see if there's any security features in here, or whether it's very much you're left to your own devices unless you start hammering on the door. I mean, it would be preferred if it was that way, but they'll figure out a workaround if it's not.
Sure. You can roll them dice.
Yes. Do. Nice. Nice for both of you. Nice for both of you. Alright. Let's see. That is a 22 for Kop. And that is a... What is your one, Morpha? Yep, I forgot you've both got the +6.
Mm-hmm.
So that is... okay, that's amusing. That is... Do you want a 22 or a 22?
Sounds good to me. So the pair of them are looking around this room, and as far as security is concerned, they can tell that there's some sort of wards built into the walls, possibly of reinforcing or to stop people from busting through the walls. The glass is very much the same. But for the most part, the only way to see into this room is through that one-way glass window.
Mm-hmm. Alright, makes sense with Einquell's usual budget. It's just, Kop's very much talked to Morpha about, okay, so out there's something called, I've heard of something called CCTV from the moon. This is what that does. If we find that, you know what to do about it. And Morpha has just had a little smile about that. If there's no CCTV, there is very much after she does a walk around the room, she does just kind of sit down, just going, I wanted to do the thing. I know. Tell you what, later on, we'll find somewhere that does have it and we'll break into there. Is that good? Yes, actually.
My head is in my hands. Oh my god. I love the sketches so much. Oh god.
There's a reason their reports usually go through Jeeves and then Lynn.
Yeah.
It's very much, okay, you can say that. Do not say you did that! I'll tell her you said that. I'll tell her you did that. Because they do inform Lynn of everything they do, because they respect her enough on that front. Same time, it is just...
Some things have to be said a little bit more delicately.
Just, why would you do this?
Fair enough. So the pair of them are only waiting for maybe 10 minutes at most before the door opens again. And a rather gruff individual is being ushered into the room. And I have a picture of him for you. Where did it go? Where is it? There it is.
Oh, that looks like a friend!
He's a very unimpressed looking fellow, wearing a horned hat, and he's got two little cat ear shapes poking out the top of it as well, and a fluffy tail, and he's wearing sort of a sackcloth kind of tunic, and his hands are both bound. And you don't really need to roll Arcana to see that the shackles that his hands are bound with are magical because they glow. And there's two guards, one of which looks like he's been kicked in the stomach, who are sort of boxing him in shoulder to shoulder, and they march him over to one of the seats and sort of sit him down in there, and then they both sort of just give him a look, and then look at you both, nod, tip their hat, and then just back out of the room, and you can hear the door go clunk.
Alright, there is straight up, like, the moment they're gone, Morpha's already settled into the cool and calm professional setting, because that's basically her expression the entire time, bless her. She's still learning how to emote, but she's getting there. Meanwhile, Kop is just like, full on, he was trying to hide a small just, okay, that's got to have hurt. That's amusing. Just, yep, alright, A-cab.
So this guy is he's sat down, and then the door closes, and then he just sort of, he's got one eye on the left side of his face, very similar to the other Pokemani that you've encountered. And he just sort of moves his eye. He doesn't turn his head, but he just moves his eye to look at the two of you. Well, this is unexpected.
I presume it would be. Sorry about all of this, but, formalities he-who. Could I get your name again, please?
My name should be on the paperwork.
I know, but honestly, quite frankly, paperwork's a peck nightmare, and they do like making stuff go missing, so I like hearing the accent directly.
He sort of gives you this sort of roll of his shoulders, and he leans back in his chair a little bit. And what makes you think I'm going to be cooperative?
Oh, I don't know. And he does lean back as well. It's just like, I mean, you're in a pretty shit place with some pretty shit people, and hey, we're a bit less shit. So, you can talk to us, we can talk to you, we can actually have a nice chinwag here if you like. We have ways of making things work out for people.
Oh, really? I can't say that you're going to be able to do anything for me.
Yes, you've got yourself in quite the sticky situation, haven't you? Not exactly made friends, eh?
I'm not in this business to make friends.
And what kind of business would that be?
Do you want to roll a persuasion real quick?
Alright. What is your persuasion mod? That is a +1 to persuasion, of course. Because you are Kop, and you haven't managed to piss off anyone in here yet. But surprisingly...
That's encouraging.
Very surprisingly.
Wow! Dirty 20, well done, Kop. I'm so proud. Okay.
We are proud. I'm looking at you going, okay, have we switched places by accident? Is this Morpha?
Alright, so he kind of tilts his head to the side a little bit. I do a bit of looting and pillaging, the piratical kind of pursuits.
Good taste, good taste. Although, being in here, you did kind of bite off a bit more than you could chew, eh? How did that happen?
It's an occupational hazard, you understand.
Oh, you wouldn't believe it, but yeah, I know that occupational hazard like you wouldn't believe. The amount of times I've, whoa! Yeah, there is that shared... He almost tries for a shared grin on this point. It's just, yeah, this guy's done stuff similar.
That kind of gets an arch eyebrow kind of expression. Like, he's a Pokemani, so he's only got one eye, so it's a little hard to do one up, one down eyebrow, but you get the gist. You get the vibe.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you'd be surprised. We're a bit, unconventional.
Well, you must have some reason to be in here. I've had a whole one visitor in the whole year I've been here. And it certainly wasn't anyone that looked like the Barrier.
There is almost a look at Morpha from Kop, and it's not that traditional look. It's very much a quick side-eyed look of just taking info in, almost as though they're sharing a secret real quick before he just goes, and who would that other visitor be, eh?
Well, he wasn't here for me. He was here for the young'uns to take him away. I caught a glimpse of him. More than I really cared to be honest.
The young'uns. Wait, young'uns? There were kids in here?
I'd say young'uns. They younger than me. Which ain't hard, you know. I bet the both of you are younger than me.
You know what? Probably. I mean, what are you? 20? 25? And that is just Kop giving a good grin on that one of just, come on. He knows you're far older than that.
There's some intense increasing of that raised eyebrow kind of expression. I'm older than the fool who put me here.
Oh. And was that same fool the one who came to pick the others up, or?
It was indeed.
Well, delightful. Because, fun fact, you and I and my dear associate here, and of course our, benefactor, we all have a very specific dislike of that guy. A mutual enemy, if you will.
Oh. And he sort of sits up straight. Do tell. Just humour me. Who might that be?
Well, if we humour you, you humour us, but there's a very specific person who's keeping you in here, isn't there? You haven't had a trial. You've only had one visitor, which was not actually a visitor. And well, for a Pokemani, you're the only one here, eh?
You do have all your facts in a line. All right.
I do have to ask, what pray tell did you do to piss them off? And I'm saying that as someone who's managed to piss off basically everyone in this country and over.
Oh, there is many things that I've done that annoys that man. And, quite frankly, it's a shame that the latest one didn't work. Anything that can inconvenience that bastard is good by me.
Now that's something we always love to hear. As you see, we've got a sort of specialized business of our benefactor greatly enjoys messing with people who mess with them. And this guy, well, he may have slighted the family, which isn't going to stand, eh?
Oh, well, that wouldn't be the first family that he's put to ruin. Tell you what. If you've got specific questions, by all means ask and I'll tell you what I know. But I guarantee you there's no getting me out of here.
Well, if push comes to shove, I've always heard that a pack of serious putty goes a long way.
Ah, I like you.
Yeah, that is a grin with all teeth right back there, just like, yep, we're having fun here now. This is good. It's like, yeah, you said you were older than him. Now, this person that we both talking about, he, what's the word? Founder, builder, whatever fancy schmancy word. I mean, oh, please, dear God, tell me he hasn't got a statue.
Not unless you count the spire.
Yeah, heard about that, vaguely. It's got a bit of a magical bullshit thing than I care to look into myself, but...
It's a monument to everything that he decided. And also a monument to what he ended up with. It wasn't all so simple.
Oh, do tell.
We
always like a good story.
He put us to ruin. And then he traded himself as the hero. Built that thing. When the place he chose wilted to dust. And all the ones that could remember. If you've been to that place, you'd know.
Most of them are young ones, born on that island. Those of us left who know, we're inconvenient. He doesn't have friends in those of us of the old generation.
I see. And I'm presuming he's got enough power as well as that, what did they call it? The Mew the Hood? Anyone who tries to change the status quo probably doesn't end well.
It all comes down to whether or not you're willing to try. The Mew the Hood, bless the ladies, they are pushovers. They're scared of him. Most other older folk like me, some of us bow to that man. Others won't take his nonsense at all, like me.
And of course that means that if you ever get in trouble, well, you're left high and dry, eh?
High and dry. But do you know why he's left me in here?
And he sort of leans forward.
Because his prison won't hold me.
Oh.
It's not designed for Pokemani like me.
That gets a lean in from Kop, very conspiratorial, just, oh. I know there are different types. And that does get another glance at Morpha before he just looks back and just goes, there are different types, yes. In fact, actually, you might be someone more specialized than others to tell us about certain types. But which one are you, eh? I read the file. Grey. So not a light type. But we could play 20 guesses, but I'm pretty sure you could just tell me straight off the bat, eh?
Let's not waste anyone's time with it.
And he reaches up both of his hands and gives a little tuk-tuk against the metal of his helmet.
They call types like me metal types.
I'm presuming you're not exactly one of the, favoured types.
Oh no, he's got nothing against metal types.
But you're pretty hardy and resistant.
We do tend to be a bit like that. Stubborn is also another one of our more defining features. But then you've got types like him. Power types. Tend to be a bit self-important.
You sure that's not just because he's in power? They can be a bit of a dictator, take the tater off.
Oh no, I can't say that he cares for potatoes.
So he's just a bit of a dick then. Good to know.
He put families to ruin. He put our home to ruin and put himself in charge.
How exactly did he do that?
Oh, now you're getting into the old times of the Civil War.
Oh?
Him and his lot versus the dark types and the ghost types.
I'm just gonna roll a quick deception. Okay, Morpha aces the deception. Kop, let's see what you do. Let's see. What's your deception, Kop? That is Morpha's sheets. What is your deception, Kop? Okay. There is a full-on, just at those That is a 15, not 115, you motherfucker. I did not somehow manage to roll a wonderful 111.
Nice try though, Kop. You can't bullshit us that easy.
Yeah, Kop probably has done that before. Just yes, this is the exact thing that I got. This is way over. It's got an extra 0 on it. But he does like full on, just like there is the ear swivel at that. In fact, you'd probably have to roll insight yourself to see how interested he is.
All right. Nope. All the lights have turned
You
off
see,
and it's dark.
it's enabling the roll. Ha! 15.
Beauty.
But you do get that Kop has been very much mirroring. It has been there is even actually, you can tell there is respect. There is just, this is a fellow criminal, but also someone who's been through stuff, who's seen things, who's done things. Yes, you're crotchety, you're grumpy, but Kop's dealt with people similar and probably got a few bite marks for similar. But you do mention dark types, and there is just the immediate, slightly more serious edge as his ears swivel forward. Just, he is listening to you. So there's more to this than we thought.
He prides himself in what he's kept secret. Like the 2 young ones that he took from here. He took them and not me. 'Cause they're dark types.
They were dark types.
Hey.
Oh boy.
Fine sailors, both of them.
Yeah.
But
Do you think they're still, you know, on this side of the planar boundary?
hard to say. I've never seen inside his prison. He wouldn't waste time trying to put me there. It's not designed for me.
No.
Well,
It's very much designed for 2 other types, isn't it?
hey. He would have gone them and Nick, the poor sod, and taken them when they can't get out. I've seen that island. Doesn't look good from the outside. So maybe they are still breathing, but I don't know.
Right. Which of the islands is it? Just out of curiosity. Our benefactor might find this information, well, enlightening.
From what Nick was saying, that his boss told him. They called it Cantos, the island.
Mm-hmm.
And the little smattering of buildings you can see from the boat, they called it Lavender Town.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's
And there is another glance between Kop and Morpha as all of this is going on.
It's let me get my bearings. So if you think of where Johto's is, and you head a bit north,
Mm-hmm.
and then a bit north some more, and when you're not quite as north as the Easel Isle, then you turn to the east. It's up there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll see it, because it grows purple.
Mm-hmm. Good to know. Honestly, I think our benefactor is going to be very pleased about knowing this information. Do you think... We are aware that dark types aren't that common. That the fact that you had 2 dark types... Where exactly did they spring from? Did you get them straight off the bat? Because from what we knew, the Mutherhood kept them all the eggs together.
Oh, they're a lot more common than you'd actually think. Ghost types too, but no.
Oh.
These two, I took him. Straight off the ferry.
Always hate those types. Always hate the types of people that just look at someone and then just go, yep, know exactly who you are and what you're gonna be.
Well, I'm glad that someone else hates him as much as I do, because that's what Alamos does.
Well, was he always like this? You said he set up that place. You said there was all the wilting.
Oh, yeah. Thought he'd found us the perfect home after it all went to shit. It was green enough, and he settled us there. Don't remember him giving us any say in the matter, mind you. But then, just as we started to get settled, everything died. Every last tree, every last blade of grass, over a couple of hours. It's when he started building to keep the island alive. And that was why we went after that jewel. Because that was what did it.
Were you trying to build a new home or just piss him off?
Pissing him off was part of the problem. But the other part, you see, something so critical to a community's survival, he'd pay anything for it back. And, you know, getting a scapegoat all sorted to mostly take the fall sounded like a good plan. Taking a double scapegoat, even better. And it didn't quite work out the way we wanted, but, you know, these things happen.
Let me guess, you found some heroes, eh?
Oh, did we ever? Gave us a right thrashing on the deck, they did. And the bloke that we've set up, this real kind bloke, who we were gonna, we'll sneak out and you can take the fall once we get out of Dodge. He pissed off right quick and we didn't see from him again. So, all that you see was.
Ugh, yeah. I've had, I want to say cases, seeing as where we are, but I've had similar circumstances. Let's just say the benefactor has been very enlightening in making sure I didn't end up in a place like you.
Well, you've got a better boss than I do then. Mind you, I didn't really have a boss so much in this endeavour. Nick did, but not me. I was the captain. Nick came to me with the job from his boss.
Which one was Nick again?
Nick? Poor sod, they kicked his ass right good. He never ended up in this place. He was apprehended back on Jotos and taken on the ferry to Lavender Town. Haven't seen him since. But that's what happens to dark types.
Yeah. Dark and Ghost, You don't think they take the eggs over there straight away, do they?
I'm afraid that's exactly what they do. Remember how I said I took the two young ones off the ferry? They were eggs at the time.
Oh. Well, fuck us sideways with a stick. That is...
Sounds comfortable, mate.
Wouldn't recommend it. Would not recommend it. I'm sorry you lost them.
They were good kids. Good sailors. And hopefully they still breathe. But as long as Alamos does, I won't see him again one way or the other. Because I know that I'm still here on his orders. I'm not going to get a trial. And even if I did, it'd be on a reduced sentence to what he wants. He doesn't want me out of here. And he has authority. That's why I've got no trial.
We'd figured as much. It's... What is it, bribes here, or is he just that much of a, influence with enough strings?
I don't belong to Ghibli. As far as all the paperwork is concerned, I belong to Jotas. But I reject that. Matter of fact, I'm cinema born and that's all I'll ever be.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Cinema born, so you weren't born... Huh. Interesting. From what we knew, all of them just originated there, but then again, you said that you were older than him, older than... So where were you all from before the island?
Cinnabar. Though you won't find much left of it these days. 'Cause he destroyed it.
And why'd he do that?
It was collateral in the war. Between him and the two types that he hates to death. And the number of people he killed when he sunk that island beneath the sea. He's got more blood on his hands than I do.
We know that kind of type incredibly well. Do you have any idea why he hates that two types especially? We know, both I and my partner here, we know xenophobia. Our boss has something of a hatred of xenophobia in general. The last person who tried to mess with me may have got defenestrated.
Oh well, good. I mean, I imagine you'd cop a lot of it given as,
And he just sort of looks you up and down.
yeah, a bit far from home. You don't exactly blend in so much.
Oh, you'd be surprised. Over there, I'm toon enough to be unfortunate. Over here, I'm real enough to be unfortunate.
Yeah, all around unfortunate. That's a shame.
It does have its benefits, though. If you lean into one enough, you can blend in. You can get information.
Well, I'll put it to use if I ever get out of here.
Mm-hmm. But on to those two, the dark, the ghost, it's... What started that? I mean, you don't have those, same sentiments. Presuming not all of the old folk have those sentiments.
No,
Or are you just special?
no. They were normal folk like anyone else. I don't know what did it. I just saw the aftermath. Trying to get as many people out as we could when the island was sinking. And then trying to get to a new home because the one we had we couldn't go back to. And then have him put every last ghost and dark type on a boat and ship him off and say they had no place.
We've seen that before. Never ends well.
Well, I hope that he gets what's coming to him. Because this has been going on for 50 years.
Well, eventually it'll topple. I mean, his island is, it goes through things, doesn't it? There are whispers of stuff, whispers of that tower, all the related to that gem. I mean, just you stole it? But, heard it's also gone through other stuff as well.
No? Afraid I don't have any more recent news. I've been in here since we tried the theft. My only
Fair
regret
point.
is that I didn't get to see the island die.
I can commiserate. And there is another look between Morpha and Copper, that one just... Again, there has been this mildly ominous thing of while these two have been talking, there has just been Morpha just outright just sitting there, just watching, just one head tilted just slightly to one side, just watching it all underneath her hood. Entirely unblinking. We might not be able to get you out at the moment, but if in the future Alamos were ever to be incredibly inconvenienced, maybe we could find a way to get you out.
I won't be holding my breath. But, should that happen, I imagine I'd have to properly go on trial. On account of all of the looting and pillaging and theft and kidnapping and arson that I've been doing over the last while.
Oh, arson. Fond of arson. That one's a good one.
Oh, it is.
But yeah. I mean, if you're doing it, if you had 2 kids to support who wouldn't exactly be well treated back home. In fact, they're not the only dark types that have been seen around. There were others, weren't there? Over here. Apparently this big case related to some people. You ever heard of the Ford family?
He sort of tilts his head to the side.
Can't say I have.
It's apparently there were a couple of dark types that messed with them as well. Caused a bit of a ruckus, caused a bit of a disturbance. It's honestly, we're kind of lucky that the few other Pokemani we know put everything back in the good graces. Otherwise, let's just say Pokemani and everyone else would be a bit And there is just like the forcible wince.
He sort of looks between you both and then pointedly looks at Kop because he's like, I'm not going to win that staring contest, am I?
No, you're not.
If they were dark types, then they must have hatched on the ferry and fell off and washed ashore elsewhere. Or be older folk. But I don't know anything about it. Do you have a description?
Yeah. Morpha, you got the file? And there is a nod and a rummage. It's not actually a cartoonish rummage. It is, you can definitely tell this person is performing toon-like. But she is just rummaging around in her cloak. And tell me, this is to you, Whis, because of other ties, would they potentially, should I roll a luck die to see whether they have, like, images of these other people, seeing as they were known?
It would all come down to whether or not somebody went back to talk to Missy or Chifley about their encounter with Pokemani, outside of the little conversation that the two of them had with Lynn and Rye after the Brat Battles escapade.
I quite frankly, we will RP this at some stage as soon as we have spoons. I think they actually would have. Because of how deeply intertwined this is with other cases. That Lynn wouldn't have let it go. It would have been let it simmer down. But there would have been someone going back in at a later date to go, alright, let's figure out as much as we can on this situation to figure out where everything loops in.
Sure. In that case, then the pair could roll a history.
Will do. Morpha! Holy peck!
Was that a nat 20?
Yes, it was!
Beautiful. That's
And
my
that
girl.
is... Yeah, that is our girl. And from Kop, Kop, buddy, you've really, honestly, your partner's picking up the slack here. Because that is a 10 plus 0. That is not 100 plus 0. Thank you, my sticky. Honestly.
Oh, bless.
I've been using the 0 key too much for my GIS.
Fair enough. Okay, well, in that case, you absolutely have that file, and Morpha probably read it last night just to get all the details fresh. So, from conversations with Chifley and Missy Ford, the file has listed 2 names, Betty and Georgia. And these two toons were described as having round heads with no neck. Betty had 3 little horns and long spiky hair, and her arms looked like long sleeves with tattered ends. Georgia kind of looked like she was wearing a pumpkin for pants. She had a jack-o'-lantern face design on her, like where her hip area is, and had long red hair. And the two of them also wore gold bands around their ankles and could float, and had one singular eye on the right-hand side of their head.
Mm-hmm. Right-hand side, left-hand side. That's something interesting. But there is very much she does actually just, like, slide those over. She's probably got transcripts of stuff of just everyone in this network likes, as soon as they're out of a situation, immediately writing everything down in shorthand so they can refer back to it later.
It's not a bad strategy. Indeed.
There is probably, like, Morpha, with that big old cloak, has probably been writing notes already, just, like, probably a bit of paper quite literally stitched to the inside of the cape, just writing on that.
Amazing.
I've done that. It's really fun.
Stealth notes.
You can write so many stealth notes. If you get the right thing, you can look at someone and write, and you actually make legible notes, and yet it just looks as though you've got a twitchy hand.
Oh, that's great.
But she does give it over to Kop. And Kop does read it out. If there are any sketches that Lynn's managed to do, they are shown in just this is what we've got. They do seem to fit your dark type, although floating, is that... Do you have flying types? Can you have a cross type? Can you have more than one type in one person?
Can't say I've met anyone who's more than one. And as for the floating bit, nah, not really, except...
Oh?
Looking at these two. Their eyes are on the other side. And you say they can float in the air. They aren't dark types. They're not dark types. These are ghost types.
Oh. So, eye placement dictates, though, not dictates. Represents, shows that?
It can do. More ghost types than not have their eyes on the other side. It's not unheard of for occasionally someone in another type to have their eye on the right, but most of us is on the left unless you're a ghost type. In that case, it's switched.
We'll have to keep that in mind.
But the floating, that's definitely ghost type. I don't know these two, but they don't strike me as old folk. Which means they're youngins. Which means they've come off the ferry.
This ferry, do you know how well secured it is?
Well, I've managed to raid it at least once. And by the sounds of this. And also, Nick. Nick wasn't old folk. Nick was a young folk. So he would have had to come off the ferry too. So, you know, at least a handful of times people have gone in and taken eggs off of that boat.
So it can be done.
It wasn't actually too hard. I'm going to gather that the ferryman doesn't actually give a toss.
If you're taking children over to a prison, honestly, that does say something. You've got to either not care or you've got to have a mean streak, a real long, wide, and deep. Ugh. Alright. So, hey Morpha, you think we can take it at some stage? I think we can take it at some stage. Yeah. And there is just... You actually get, for the first time through all of this, this person right next to Kop just looks at him, and there is just the very faint smile of, oh, she wants to take this place. She wants to take that ferry. She wants to cause some chaos. We know about the past. We know about some of the current. This is kind of a standard question nowadays. It's honestly, you're actually one of the nicest people we've met, so cheers to you on that front.
Wow. If I'm up there in the nicest category, you must talk to some real bad folk.
Oh, I almost ended up in the deals, so you can see how deep we go, eh?
I'm not going to make you roll insight, but there's just this blank expression. He has no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, that gets you know that kind of laugh of, oh, you bless your cotton socks.
Mm-hmm.
There is just like, if he could, he'd probably be reaching over and just like patting him on the hand, but you do not have to roll insight. There is that genuine look in Kop's eyes that he can't quite hide of, it's very good that you don't know that place. I don't want to know that place, and yet I do.
Yeah, fair enough.
But you don't like Ark, but you ever heard of his kids?
Oh, yeah. The little prince and princess.
How much do you know about them in general?
Not much.
Hmm.
Never saw the young fella. He was locked away inside that manor of theirs right from the day he was laid.
Indeed.
The girl.
Quite some problems there.
The girl's all right. Spends most of her day up at the hall.
Mm-hmm. She interact with many people, the common folk?
She wasn't aloof. She'd say hello if they walked past. But most of the time she was up there. Who knows in a book? Can't say it's the worst thing for someone like her to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
She is an unbecount girl after all.
Our benefactor's heard that word come up a few times. Or deity, I guess?
Eh? The patron of our old tribe.
Ah, so unbecount goes a long way back.
Oh yeah. Long time.
You a follower, or was it others?
I ain't no magic user. I can't pull down divine favour or any of that sort of rubbish. But I don't curse that god. Not at all. He values knowledge, and I like some of that. I like knowing how to read the sea, how to tie ropes, and how to sail a ship. Some of those things I wouldn't know if not for him. Any Pokemani could tell you the same.
But of course, knowledge can be restricted, and
yeah,
people
yeah.
like changing the narrative.
Oh yeah. We lost a lot of people and a lot of knowledge when Cinema was fell.
Yeah. There's a, our boss heard a, story about the, creation of Pokemani, something about the sea. Morpha, have you got that transcript? And there is another nod and another, almost as though she'd predicted he was going to ask this question. Just a passing over a sheet of paper, and he just... I cannot say it out loud fully, but it is that creation myth. the one that Cell told Lynn.
In the amount of time that it takes for Morpha to reach into her cloak and pull out the file that has the Pokemani creation myth in it, Raof actually starts talking.
The first Pokemani lived in darkness at the bottom of the sea. One day a light shone down from the ocean from above, and there was a burst of bubbles that pulled them upwards from below. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yep. That as old as new, or is that new tripe?
Oh, that's new tripe. That's new tripe on toast. That is something that he came up with to make it seem like we'd always been on that island of his. The young folk don't know where we came from. They never heard of cinema, and unless they've been sent there, they don't know about Cantos either. About Lavender Town. Their whole world is that island.
Hell of a way to keep everyone in line. Perfect utopia, perfect place, just everything's happy and fine and dandy and don't look beneath the curtain.
Exactly. If they're all happy, why would they leave? He's managed to crush any wanderlust that our type had. But he can't do anything against the old folk. It's reason number 2 why he's left me in here. Because I know what he's done. And I'm gonna keep being a pain in his arse till the day I die.
Hopefully you get to outlive him, or at least see him topple.
And that would be a fine day indeed.
Let's just say that guy has made a lot of enemies. It's our benefactor, her friends, her family. It's the people he's gone and slighted, they don't take kindly to it. His days are numbered.
Can't wait for it to get to 0.
Amen to that.
Once you're done
Now-
it, then make sure you come and see me again. I'm not gonna get out of here because of all the trials and bullshit that I have to go through, but I'd really like some good news. For a change.
We'll bring good news. Perhaps we'll even bring a cake with a nail file in.
Oh, don't get any ideas.
Already full of them. This place? I'd want to break out of here. I bet. I could have fun. I could have fun. And there is that grin of he's just looking around, just... You can kind of see he's going, if I put a charge there and I set it off, oh god, the explosion would be great.
You just have this old pirate cat just chuckling now. He likes Kop quite a bit.
There is a reason why Kop is set out for these certain individuals. He might piss off everyone when he's actively going, I can talk my way out of this. When he's talking to someone like-minded, he just goes, yeah, I like this. I do have one question. My partner here is well, she's rather unique.
You can kind of see that. So it looks like she doesn't have any ink, it's just paper.
Well, there are always fun ways of manipulating paper, and we like to call it a bit more of a malleability. Morpha, you want to show him? And this person in front of you smiles, and would you like to roll Arcana for me?
Sure. What's your Arcana, Raof? No, it's actually not as bad as I thought it was. It's still not great, but... I mean, okay, fine! Nat 20, why not? Sure. Be that way, Raof. Fine, you stubborn old cat. Alright.
He can clearly... There is that moment as he's looking at her, and she looks back, and there is that smile, and you can clearly see this is a form that she is incredibly familiar with, but also, no, that is a disguise spell, and you see something almost shift underneath the surface. And then she drops disguise self, and Raof, You're looking at yourself.
I'm just gonna do him a quick whiz save. What's your whiz save? Oh. Okay. There is a yelp from the old pirate, and he sort of topples backwards over his chair, because whatever he was expecting, it wasn't that.
There is a sharp bark of laughter from Kop as he just goes, I thought you were going to be the other one. Well, this was more entertaining.
There's just this sort of pained voice from the floor.
Oh, she does talk. Right. Oh, man, got my bell rung.
Right, I do. This voice is going to take some getting used to. Have I got it right now? I think I've got it right now. Yeah, you've got a weird voice.
Well, it's only what I've got. So.
You know what? That's incredibly valid. Well, I can do this. And there is just Kop, just like, you can actually, in fact, roll me insight if you like.
Sure. 16.
16 does it. It's Raof, you've talked about those two kids you had.
Mm-hmm.
About how they were yours, about how they were fine. And you see Kop looking at Morpha, or this person next to him, who's now you. And it is a very odd look of that. As he's looking at her, there is very much that sense of pride. This is someone who cares for this other deeply. Perhaps as family. Or perhaps as just a very good partner, but there is just that pride there. He trusts this person. And you can also tell he is totally he's trying very hard. He's also internally laughing his picking arse off, because it's just like, that trick never gets old.
Oh dear. Raof is going to take a minute, and then a little bit clumsily, because his hands are still bound together, pull himself up off the floor, and then sort of kick the chair back into the correct position, and then sort of plonk himself back down into the chair with a really heavy thud.
Well, that's certainly a talent there.
Thank you. I can do it quite a lot. I should be able to use this a couple of times if... Were you a dock worker, or...?
No.
Would many people recognize you?
Really depends on where you were going.
And Kop does take over talking again, because Morpha prefers observation more than anything else. She is very... Now that she's actually like this, she's got her hood pulled up, but she is now just leaned forward. She's just going to be listening to the voice now. She's got the body down.
Mm-hmm.
Especially as you had the fun time of falling over. She now knows what that looks like. She's going to replicate that later on. We've got a few things in mind. Our boss has a bit of magic to her. If we can replicate one, we can replicate a few others, and if we've got Morpha, well, doors don't stay locked. We'll figure out a way in.
In's not a problem. He's out.
Out. Yep.
And discussing a jailbreak in the jail where they're probably listening ain't clever.
Yeah, fair point, fair point. Oh god, we're gonna get a talk from the boss, aren't we? I don't want to get donkey kicked off a roof again.
Well, I might be interested to see this boss of yours one day. They sound like a hoot.
Maybe they'll visit one day. I'm sure they'd be interested in you.
Well, I'll be here.
Mm-hmm. Alright. Well, we've had a hoot. We've had a wonderful time. Morpha's had fun. Morpha, you gonna shift back? And there is just... She does kind of... You don't have a neck, but there is that kind of roll. And she just goes... She just looks at him, shakes her head, and goes, "Oh, you like that one now? Fine. Fine. God, identity theft and you. First the wizard and now this one. Fine. You're the one who has to bring it up to Jeeves."
I wouldn't go wearing my face out in the corridors. I can't say that they'll take too kindly to you. I don't have exactly the best reputation in this place. Every last member of staff has at least a bruise or two, if not a broken bone, thanks to me.
Quite the charmer then, eh?
I have a certain charisma, yes.
Well, like-minded then, eh? Tell you what, one day you get out of here, you, me, bar fight.
It sounds like the best time I would have had in years. You're on. As long as the drinks are on you.
Oh, I know some good places. Although, I gotta admit, Toon drinks. Why do they put ice cream? I mean, I respect you. I'm sure you have wonderful drinks. I'm sure you probably go with the soda, probably go with the root beer. Why ice cream?
He just sort of shakes his head and gives a bit of a shrug of his shoulders.
I'm more of a drinking out of a barrel kind of guy.
Ah, there we go. Finally! Finally someone with my spirit. Nice. And there is just... He does just turn to Morpha, and there is actually now just a little kick of just, no, you can't stay in that form. No. Shift. And there is very much it's kind of disconcerting how it's the very blank stare without blinking. Just your form no longer blinking before she just shifts once. And it is another Pokemani. It is a light type, or at least someone similar to that, you think. And then shifts again, and then it is just, yeah, it's back to the person you knew earlier, just readjusting the cloak around themselves.
He has that arched eyebrow expression, but does not remark.
Right. If there's anything else you'd like to give us, any information, and Kop is doing the stretchy. All his bones are clicking. This guy likes making those bones click, apparently. It's like, if you've got anything you think might be relevant, now's a good time. If not, well, we can leave you to throw a few more hands. Honestly, are all of these guys Toon?
All the ones that have been dealing with me have been.
Right. Tall folks like that, I've learned kidney. Always go for where the kidney should be. Honestly, it can get some damn good reactions.
Alright, I'll keep that in mind. I think Ben might be due for a new bruise. We'll see what happens. Thanks for the tip.
Happy to help. Alright, but it's been a pleasure meeting you, a genuine pleasure. We'll keep in touch. Right. You good to go, Morpha? And there is just this very small smile at that, and you do get a wave.
And he sort of gives a nod in response.
Right. So, how the fuck do we get out of it? No, we can't say we're gonna... Hypothetically, if we steal a horse, do you think I'd be allowed to keep it? And he's just starting to go towards the door.
Oh dear. As you approach the door, just before you get into the danger zone, there is a solid ka-clunk, and it opens. One of the guards was actually standing out there, and pushes it open for you.
Fantastic. Alright. Have a fun time. Everyone's doing great. Alright. Bye, fuckers. And he's just walking out.
And
this guy is not good for politeness. He's just gone. He's walking.
fair enough. And the last that you hear of Raof Zerks is some swearing, some thieves' cant, some maniacal laughter, and a little bit of a meow kind of noise. And also an awful lot of shouting and pained noises from the Frankenali who had been tasked with taking him back to his cell.
The last thing that Raof hears is a full-on bark of laughter of just, yeah, you did it!
Oh, dear.
God.
And then I think we can leave Kop and Morpha to figure out how they're going to get back to Toontown and then Halloween Town, presumably, off screen.
Yes. They'll probably stop by Jeeves'. They're gonna stop by Jeeves' place in the middle of the night just so they can get the drop on him because he hates it.
I love the sketches.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much for playing with me, Vwild. I enjoy these two very much.
It has been an absolute delight, and I have loved every second of it.
Thank you, everybody, for listening, and we hope to see you at the next thing, which is not going to be too far away. Hee-hoo!
Hee-hoo!
Alright, bye-bye!
Bye-bye!